There are moments in every franchise's journey where you feel the ground shifting beneath your feet, where the foundation you've built on for years suddenly needs reinforcement, and the decisions made in the next few months will determine whether we rise or fall. Welcome back to Lions News Fan Report, your home for the most updated news and all the rumors surrounding our beloved Detroit Lions. I'm bringing you exclusive insights today about a situation that's developing right now, something that could fundamentally reshape our offensive line and our entire approach to protecting our franchise. Stick with me until the end because what I'm about to reveal involves one of our most trusted veterans, a future draft strategy that's already being mapped out, and a decision that could define our next championship window. Let's dive in. Look, I need to be straight with you about something that's been weighing on my mind lately. We're watching this team battle through adversity. We're seeing the struggles stack up over these last several weeks, and there's a common thread running through all of it that we can't ignore anymore. Our offensive line, the unit that's supposed to be our identity, the group that's supposed to impose our will on opponents, has been inconsistent. Not terrible, not catastrophic, but inconsistent enough that it's costing us games we should be winning. And here's where things get interesting, where we need to start connecting dots that might not seem obvious at first glance. Draft analysts are already releasing their early 2026 mock drafts, and when you look at where they have us picking, it tells you everything you need to know about how the rest of this season is being projected. Several of these mocks have Detroit drafting in the middle of the first round, around pick 17. Think about what that means. That's not a playoff team pick. That's not a Super Bowl contender pick. These analysts are sensing that Dan Campbell's squad could miss the playoffs this year, and that projection is based on what they're seeing right now with our inconsistent play. Now, I'm not here to be doom and gloom because that's not who I am as a Lions fan. We've been through too much. We've climbed too far to start panicking now. But I am here to be realistic about the challenges we're facing and the decisions that need to be made to address them. And one of those decisions involves a player who's been absolutely foundational to everything we built over the past several years, Taylor Decker. Our veteran left tackle, the guy who's been protecting our quarterback's blind side, the guy who's been a model of consistency and professionalism since we drafted him. Decker has been everything you could ask for in a franchise left tackle. But here's the reality we need to confront. He's going to turn 33 next season. In NFL years, especially for an offensive lineman who's taken the punishment that comes with playing that position at the highest level for nearly a decade, that's significant. And according to sources close to the situation, Decker could be mulling over the idea of retirement. Let that sink in for a moment. Retirement. Not next year, not in 3 years, but potentially soon. This isn't me speculating wildly or creating drama where none exists. This is based on legitimate information about a veteran player who's given everything to this franchise and who might be reaching the point where his body and his mind are telling him it's time to consider what comes next. And if that happens, if Decker decides that he's played his last snap in a Lions uniform, where does that leave us? We have Giovanni Manu on the roster, and look, I want to believe in Manu as much as anyone. He's got talent, he's got potential, but the hard truth is that he has not played consistently over the course of his first 2 NFL seasons. Consistency is everything on the offensive line. You can't have a guy who's great one week and struggling the next. You need reliability, you need someone you can count on every single Sunday, and right now, Manu hasn't shown he can be that guy at the level we need. So, the Lions are doing what smart organizations do. They're planning ahead. They're looking at the landscape, they're evaluating their options, and they're preparing for multiple scenarios. Brad Holmes, our 5th-year general manager who's been absolutely brilliant in building this roster, is already thinking about how to address this potential hole before it becomes a crisis. And if you know anything about Holmes's draft strategy, you know he has a particular affinity for a certain conference, the SEC. Holmes loves SEC players, and honestly, who can blame him? The SEC consistently produces NFL-ready talent, guys who've been battle-tested against the best competition college football has to offer. We've seen this pattern repeatedly with Holmes' picks, including offensive lineman Miles Frazier, who just made his NFL debut against the Dallas Cowboys. Holmes sees something in SEC players, trusts their development, trusts their toughness, and that pattern is likely to continue in the 2026 draft. Draft analyst Dan Brugler recently released a mock draft that has Detroit picking at number 17 in the first round, and the player he has us targeting is fascinating. Not just because of his talent, which is elite, but because of what he represents for our future and how perfectly he fits what Dan Campbell values in his offensive lineman. We're talking about a left tackle from Alabama, a guy who's been protecting one of the best quarterbacks in college football, a player who has the physical tools and the football intelligence to step in and contribute immediately at the NFL level. Kaden Proctor. That's the name you need to remember. The Alabama Crimson Tide left tackle, who could potentially be Taylor Decker's replacement and who could also provide Campbell's squad additional depth at guard. Now, before you start worrying about drafting another project or another guy who needs years to develop, let me tell you what makes Proctor special and why he's generating this kind of first-round buzz. According to Brugler, and I love this quote because it captures exactly why Proctor would fit our culture, Proctor would be an easy sell in the Detroit war room. Just show Dan Campbell clips of the 360-pounder catching screens and lining up in the backfield. Brugler says he's half kidding, but we all know Campbell would absolutely love that versatility. This isn't just a left tackle. This is an offensive lineman who can do everything, who embraces the physical nature of the position, who has the athleticism to move around and contribute in multiple ways. When you watch Proctor's film, and I've spent hours breaking this down, you see a player with solid footwork that has the athleticism and strength to compete against any style of edge rusher. He's not just surviving against elite pass rushers, he's dominating them. His pass-blocking prowess is elite level, the kind of technique and power combination that translates immediately to the NFL. But here's what I really appreciate about evaluating prospects honestly. There's still room to grow at the next level as a run defender. He's good, don't get me wrong, but that's an area where NFL coaching can take him from good to great. Earlier this year, the Football Writers Association of America announced that Proctor was among the 7 semifinalists for the Outland Trophy, which is presented annually to the most outstanding interior lineman on offense or defense. That's elite company. That's national recognition for being one of the absolute best at your position in all of college football. Now, Proctor wasn't included among the 3 finalists this season, but being a semifinalist still speaks volumes about the respect he's earned from people who evaluate offensive line play for a living. So let's talk about what this would mean for the Detroit Lions if this scenario plays out. If Decker does decide to retire, or if his play declines to the point where we need to move on, having a player like Proctor ready to step in would be absolutely crucial. We're not talking about a massive drop-off or a rebuilding period where we're trying to patch together the offensive line with free agents and hope. We're talking about a seamless transition where we plug in a first-round talent who's been developed by one of the best college programs in the country and who's ready to protect our quarterback from day one. And here's the beautiful part about Proctor's versatility. Even if Decker comes back for another year, Proctor could provide immediate value by playing guard. We've seen how important depth is on the offensive line, how quickly things can fall apart when you don't have quality backups who can step in and maintain the standard. Having Proctor available to play multiple positions would give us options, would give us flexibility, and would ensure that we're never in a situation where we're compromising our offensive line integrity because of injuries or performance issues. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. We're sitting here talking about the 2026 draft when we still have games to play this season, when we still have a chance to turn things around and make a playoff push. And you're absolutely right to think that way. But this is what smart organizations do. They plan for multiple scenarios. They think 2 and 3 steps ahead, and they make sure they're never caught off guard by situations they should have seen coming. The reality is that offensive line is a position where you can never have too much talent, where you need to constantly be developing the next generation while maximizing the current one. Look at the best teams in the NFL, the teams that consistently compete for championships. They're always drafting offensive linemen, always developing young talent, always making sure that when a veteran moves on, they have someone ready to step into that role without missing a beat. If we do end up in a position where we're picking in the middle of the first round, using that pick on someone like Kaden Proctor would be an absolutely brilliant move. It addresses an immediate need, it sets us up for long-term success, and it continues the pattern of building through the draft that has made this organization so much stronger over the past few years. Brad Holmes has earned our trust with his draft decisions, and if he believes Proctor is the guy, I'm all in on that evaluation. But here's what I need from you right now. I need to know what you think about this potential scenario. Do you believe we should prioritize offensive line in the first round if Decker's future is uncertain? Would you be excited about drafting Kaden Proctor, or do you think there are other positions that need to be addressed first? And most importantly, how do you feel about where this season is heading and what it means for our draft position? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to hear different perspectives on this. My final analysis is this. Taylor Decker has been an absolute cornerstone of this offensive line, but at 33 years old and with retirement potentially on his mind, the Lions need to be proactive about finding his replacement. Kaden Proctor from Alabama represents exactly the kind of player who could step into that role seamlessly, a first-round talent with elite pass-blocking skills and the versatility to contribute immediately at multiple positions. If we end up picking in the middle of the first round, as these early mock drafts suggest, targeting Proctor would be a smart, forward-thinking move that sets us up for sustained success. The offensive line is the foundation of everything we do, and we can't afford to let that foundation crumble because we failed to plan ahead. If you want to stay on top of this situation and get all the latest Lions news as it develops, make sure you're subscribed to Lions News Fan Report and hit that notification bell. We're going to be tracking this story closely as we move toward the offseason, and I'll bring you every update and every piece of analysis you need to understand what's happening with our team. Smash that like button if you found this valuable, share it with your fellow Lions fans, and let's keep this conversation going in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Pride.